What is food poisoning?
Yes. Well, I suppose food poisoning is an infection of the gut. That's really what we're talking about. And generally, somebody will know when they have it if they get cramps in their stomach or in their intestines, or if they get diarrhea, or if they're vomiting. These are often the symptoms that somebody knows they have food poisoning when that happens.
Right.
Well, the immediate response is they feel very often very ill. They very often need to stay very close to the toilet because they never know when the next cramp is going to come and they have to go to the toilet. And also, some people will vomit quite a bit. So you often just immediately know it's food poisoning because there are very few other infections that might have those symptoms. Most people who get food poisoning, they probably don't even go to their GP. It's often a very mild form. It might only last for a few hours or half a day. But if it persists for longer than a few days, then they might need to do something about it. So, in general, that's still the case now as it was in the old days, if you want to look at it that way. Most GPs would not necessarily recommend an antibiotic for somebody who has food poisoning, but if it persists for 4 or 5 days and it's not recovering, well, then they may send a sample away for analysis. And on the basis of that, if it's a bacterial infection, they might recommend an antibiotic. But I don't think people should assume I have food poisoning, so I need an antibiotic. I think most cases it resolves itself. So your GP is actually more likely to treat dehydration than to treat the actual infection itself.
Myths and facts about food poisoning.
I don't need to wash fruits and vegetables if I'm going to peel them, because it's easy to transfer bacteria from the rind you are cutting to the inside of your fruit and vegetables. So it's important to wash all of them, even if you plan to peel them.
Consuming food after the best before date is not safe. The best before dates are about the food quality, not safety. The food might start to lose its color, flavor, texture, but it's still safe to eat.
Contaminated food only causes food poisoning. Unsafe food containing harmful bacteria, viruses, parasites, or chemical substances causes more than 200 diseases, ranging from diarrhea to cancers.
Cooking kills bacteria. This is only partly true. Some bacteria produce spores and toxins that are not destroyed by cooking, increasing their ability to cause foodborne illness.
What causes food poisoning?
Food poisoning could be caused by many ways. For example, not cooking food enough, especially meat, or not storing it the right way. Also, keeping cooked food unrefrigerated for a long period of time. In addition to that, food poisoning could be caused by eating food that has been touched by someone who is ill or has been in contact with someone with vomiting and diarrhea.
Some of the bacteria that cause food poisoning.
Food poisoning is caused by eating contaminated, spoiled, or toxic food. Some of the most common infectious agents are E. coli, Salmonella, and norovirus. E. coli. Most types of E. coli are harmless and do exist in the intestine, but some do make you sick. O157H7 is considered the worst. It results in bloody diarrhea and could lead to kidney failure or death. It spreads mainly by uncooked ground beef. Salmonella. Salmonella is frequently found in eggs, unpasteurized milk, and raw egg products. Salmonella is killed by cooking meats and pasteurization of milk. Most people get better between 4 to 7 days. However, it could cause more serious illness in older adults, infants, and people with chronic diseases. Norovirus. Noroviruses are the most common cause of stomach and intestinal infections. This virus can spread easily. People who have been affected by the virus can infect others by directly contaminating food or drinks, and can also spread by contact with an infected person.
Statistics about food poisoning.
According to statistics, almost 1 in every 10 people around the world fall ill after eating contaminated food, resulting in 600 million people hospitalized each year, of which 420,000 people dying. Most of these people picked up the infection from sit-down restaurants, followed by catering facility, and then home-cooked food. And the least of these people picked up the infection from schools and fast food restaurants. How to treat food poisoning?
Treatment for food poisoning typically depends on the source of the illness and the severity of the symptoms. For most people, the illness resolves without treatment within few days. Here are some tips that are recommended. Let your stomach settle. Try sucking on ice chips or taking small sips of water to prevent dehydration. Gradually begin to eat food that can be easily digested. Avoid certain foods and substances until you're feeling better. And the most important thing is to rest. However, if the illness persists longer, you have to visit the hospital, as replacement of lost fluids will be required and antibiotics will be prescribed by the doctor.
How to prevent food poisoning?
Prevention. Here are some food safety tips that are recommended by the CDC. Wash your hands with soap before and after preparing the meal. Clean everything before using, as well as fruits and vegetables must be rinsed with water.
You must have different cutting boards for meats, poultry, fish, and vegetables. Also during grocery shopping and in the fridge. These should be kept separate from other groceries.
Always make sure that meat is fully defrosted before cooking it, and make sure that there is no pink color inside the meat after cooking it. If it smells unusual, avoid eating it.
Keep the fridge temperature under 4 degrees Celsius. And to avoid food poisoning, refrigerate your food within 2 hours after cooking it.